up guys, it's Link here, welcome back to Hyrule. In today's video I'm going to be discussing picking your main and why, while it is good to just pick Annie and do all that stuff that they always tell you on YouTube through the high elo players, you know, well, I think it's better to just pick, basically, first of all, the champion has to be fun to you, for you to want to play it, and for, you know, you to get better. Otherwise, you're going to get tired of practicing, and then you're not going to play, and then it defeats the whole purpose of trying to climb. So, the reason I've been playing Aphelios so much lately isn't because he's super broken and all that, because as I discussed on my last video, I'm not really high elo anyway, so it doesn't really apply too much, and I'm still not even super good with the champ. Like, some of the plays I make, I may look like I'm doing it like on purpose and well thought out, but it just, sometimes you just have the right gun at the right time, and then other times, like when I die in this video, you'll see like I just had the wrong gun, and knowing when to fight with the right gun is so important, because, well, there's just better guns for team fights. There's certain guns you don't want to ult with. Like, if you have Severum and you ult, you're just going to recover health for everyone you hit. So if you're full health, it's not really going to be useful. Stuff like that. So, as I said, the reason I've been playing Aphelios so much lately is because I'm trying to learn how to play him better. Because Ezreal gets banned, he gets first picked. I want to have another character who has, like, good carry potential besides, you know, Jinx. Because if you get in certain types of game with Jinx, she can't defend herself as well as Aphelios can. Once again, you have to have the right weapons, but still. And a lot of Jinx's power lies in rocket form with Renans. And if you, well, I mean, that's really like her only power. I was gonna say, like, if you don't have that, but the only time you should be in minigun with Jinx is pretty much when you're just in a 1v1 against someone super close because of the stacking attack speed. But the reason I just want to learn Aphelios is because while Jinx does have the second highest potential damage in the game, Aphelios is now first. Plus, he's more versatile, which is what I was bringing up earlier, how Jinx only really has the rockets and that's kind of it. Aphelios has, you know, 5 different guns that do 5 different things. So, depending on the situation, you can adapt. This is why, like, Ezreal, you're able to move around the fight, you're able to get the safety, you're able to chase, whichever one you want to do with shift, you have. Now, of course, Jinx, when she gets a kill, she goes insane in fights, getting the, like, huge attack speed bonus, the move speed to, like, chase down kills. But before that, I think Aphelios has better AoE presence. Now, you're probably just thinking, just play Aphelios, you don't have to make an excuse. We all know you want to abuse him, and like I said, I still really don't honestly think he's gonna be a champion that you can just abuse without learning. Once you get to your actual MMR, you're gonna want to have a champion like Aphelios in your arsenal, so you can just play, you know, you just have more opportunities to play better than them because of the champion allows you to have that. So right now, you know, if you're in an elo that you're pretty much out CSing your opponents, you're out playing them, you're out rotating them, you've got a good duo and he's helping you. You got, you know, whether it be a mid roaming or a jungle just camping your lane. You always have to remember that at some point you are gonna be on an even footing. So the people are gonna be CSing like you. They're gonna have pressure on champions they're supposed to have pressure on. Instead of just picking like whoever you want and no one pressures you out of lane, you're gonna start having people pick stuff that counters you. So you're always gonna want to have a champ that allows you to be flexible and scale super hard. And Aphelios scales the hardest, pretty much. Hopefully games start lasting a little longer. And I know this is Nexus Blitz, but usually I max on a regular, like, normals game of Aphelios will have maybe 3 items. I edge Renons and then whatever else I decide to go. Sometimes Essence Reaver for the crit. Sometimes I go Rapid Fire for the range. It really depends. Sometimes just go PD for the safety. Which is another thing I like about, you know, champions that have really diverse build paths. Just allows you to be useful in more situations. And everyone, I'm sure, has seen the videos where Aphelios just plays the whole team fight pretty much by himself. Just with Renons hitting everybody. He's got the right guns out, he hits the right combos, he's got the crescendo, throwing him out, you know, boomerang after boomerang. Hits the Inferno ult, everyone's 20% health, they all die, and Aphelios gets nerfed for the 14th time since his release. But what I want to say about champions that take more and more time to learn, you always want to be at least comfortable in your own role. So in other words, if you're like not a jungler and you're trying to think of like a jungler to play Warwick, play Graves has good clear. He takes a little bit of nuance to play him properly in team fights because you gotta get kind of close. But yeah, play champions like that. Play a CC champion like Vi, where you pretty much just lock somebody down and your team kills them. Don't, you know, go and play lead. Because if you're not a jungler, you're trying to think, where should I be? What should I do? And then you're trying to also like do insects. You're trying to do pretty much anything besides just hitting your Q and killing the guy right away. It's not going to go well if you're not practiced on lead. And I've made this mistake a couple times before. It did not go well for me. So, play a role you're familiar with. For me, it's either ADC or mid. And then that way you know how the lanes work. You know you're relying on your support. You know if your support, you know, is Lux or, you know, Thresh and they have Lantern or Bind down, you can't really do anything. So just make sure you kind of, you know your matchups, like I said, know what your champion can do when, like know if you're stronger than them, stuff like that. It doesn't matter what champion you're playing. If you're stronger than them, you have more range, you have more items, your support's better, whether they're just better players or they're generally better because they have more CC, or if you're trying to play against a poke, if you have like a Yuumi and you just don't let them engage and just let yourself get healed. It's just stuff like that. But the next thing I want to say in this video is that people who say you should pick X champion because they're easy and stuff, they're not wrong, but say you're pretty much iron or bronze, and you know you're playing against people that are just as good as you, but they don't have like a high skill level. So if they're playing a champion that's super hard and you're on equal footing with them, and you're playing a champion that's super easy, you'll just be able to win by default pretty much because they can't use their champion's power. But if you meet people in silver or that are just kind of better than you, you'll give yourself a better chance to compete if you play characters that have like resets, multiple weapons, ways to chase, executes, stacking mechanics, anything like that. You'll always be better off. And this goes for, play Vanguard mid. Just scale to the point where your R does 2000. Pretty much kill everybody without even having to hurt them. Stuff like that, I feel, is more important than just playing the easy champ. Unless you literally only want to get out of iron and bronze and you never want to, like, improve to the point where you could be diamond someday. Or, by all means, if you enjoy Annie, like, her Q, giving the mana back and all that is, like, relaxing and you just love watching Tibbers come out, then by all means do it. But I'm just telling people that are like me who aren't just like only playing like one or two characters because you kind of have to, so on and so forth. You can play these characters and learn them, and you'll put yourself at a huge advantage. Whereas other people who are playing simple characters will never get as far as you just because of that. I mean, the only way someone's gonna win against you on a simple champ is if they are just like a division better than you and you're not really good at your champ. So if someone comes up to me with like Sivir and I am playing Aphelios but I'm not like super good, they'll have better farm than me, they'll have better positioning than me, they'll probably even know how to counter my guns better than me. I'm just gonna... Right there. If I had Flash I could have flashed that root and I could have got a quad. But it's just plays like that you just kind of fight 3 or 4 people by yourself because you have the ability to with those crescendo stacks. Same thing with Ezreal. 4 people are chasing you, you ult into them, you WQ, you pop one of them. You do what you gotta do with your E, hit your Q, pick your targets, and you're just... There's more tools. And I've always thought that's a good thing about these harder to play champions. No. Same, there's stuff to be said about Yasuo. He's a hard to play character, but you always see like the 2 Yasuos, my team, enemy team, kind of meme where if the Yasuo's on your team, he's going 0-10. He's gonna finish eye edge by like probably 25th minute and then never get his second item. Whereas if they have a Yasuo, he's gonna be 7-0 by the 5th minute. And these things kind of really skew how complicated the champion is to actually play, like in a balanced situation. He's pretty much, you have to know how to use your dashes, you have to stack your NATO. There's tons of techniques you could do, but he's an example of one of those champions that everyone just thinks is either too strong or just terrible or whatnot. An example of a champion that I think is just kind of like good and has a lot of mechanics but isn't like overpoweringly as hard as people say she is Riven, because Riven players are pretty much either gonna get fed or they're gonna go 0-3 and quit. They don't stay for the 0-10 power spike like Yasuo players. So if a Riven player is fed and she's like 5 levels up, she's gonna press like Q, stun you, and then literally throw her ult and pretty much kill you after like one auto in between. So while it is like complicated to play and you gotta keep all your cooldowns in mind, you gotta cancel your animations, a lot of that stuff doesn't become necessary, like just like with Yasuo when he gets fed. So just keep that in mind. The moral of this whole video really is just play whoever you want for whatever you're trying to accomplish. So if you're trying to just have fun, play whoever you want. If you're trying to get out of super low elo and you're not super confident, play the Annie. Play whoever. But if you want to truly climb and have fun, play champs like Ezreal, play champs like Aphelios. If you're a jungler, take the time to learn Lee, take the time to learn Kha'Zix, because same thing with Rengar, like they're just high risk. Like if you get behind on them, you're pretty much useless. I mean, less useless than Shaco, but still, kind of harmful to your team just because you're not really doing anything. If you're not assassinating people. Another thing with Kha'Zix is he gives you the choice of what to evolve. Same as Kai'Sa, but Kai'Sa you just get a certain amount of stats. With Kha'Zix you pick which one you want at every ult level. So at 6 you get one. Most people probably take Q for the reset on isolated Q. Here I get hooked once and die. Should have flashed the hook, but I didn't. Anyways, just champions are pretty much what you make of them too at the same time. Because if you're playing, I don't know, some champions like Nasus will scale, but some champions are kind of just what they are. You can only build them, like Nidalee, for example. You can only build her AP. Without her Q buff, she was pretty, like, tragically bad. But if you have champs that can build different ways, like Ezreal, for instance, you could build lethality ADCs. Just do what's fun. Like, Kha'Zix W shoots a really wide slow. Like, probably 3 or 4 times wider than his normal W. His E allows him to jump off resets, which for me makes it at least an 11. After they nerf the R, so you don't like go stealth again in between pushes, I think it's not really a level up skill anymore, but this is also not a Kha'Zix video. So, in summary, because this is about to be the final fight and their Nexus is already at half health, just pick who you want, pick who's fun, pick for what you want to do. Like I said, if you want to climb, if you want to get to the next division, pick a complex champion, learn the complex champion. Otherwise, just have fun. So, really neither side is wrong. Just wanted to make this video as part 1 of how to pick your main. I'll go into more detail per role, per champion, etc., etc. in the future. But for now, I just wanted to kind of say, this is how the series is pretty much going to go. It's just going to be how to pick your main under the viewpoint that you want to climb to above where you are. Because you're like an established player. Anyways, we won. That's going to be the end of the video for today. Thanks for coming to Hyrule, guys. Link out.